Hello dear students. Today we are going to discuss about new chapter in statistics, that is chapter 3, organization of data. As you all know, we have already discussed about how the data is collected, the different modes of collecting data and the method of collecting data, that is whether the source of data will be a primary data or secondary data, and then after data collection whether you will be using the mode of direct personal interview or the mode of telephonic interview or the mode of mail questionnaire interview, and whether you will be collecting the data in the form of from the entire population or from a sample of population. We have discussed in details about that, and at last we discussed about Census of India and NSSO, that is National Sample Survey Organization. So today we are going to discuss about the introductory part of our third chapter, that is organization of data. So you all know that once the data is collected, irrespective of whichever mode you use, irrespective of whichever method, sampling or census you use, once you collect the data, after that what happens is you have now a pool of raw data. Raw data means which is not organized, which is not arranged. Let's say if I have to give you an example, then I'll give you one example. Let's say you have shifted your room just now, you have shifted your home. You have shifted from your old home to your new one, and you have packed everything, a truck full of various items have been packed, and you are unpacking it now. When you reached your new home, you are unpacking it now. Now you will see that books and clothes are packed together. It's even if your books are only packed separately also, then you will find that books are jumbled up, your story books are jumbled up with your maths book and all. So you want to arrange it properly, organize it properly. Let's say in your bookshelf you want to arrange books in such a way that all the maths related book will be on one side, then story related book will be on another side, novel book will be on another side. In that way, if you want to organize your bookshelf, then also it takes time, and when you once organize it, then you will easily find the book where it has been placed. You will not put the book on the shoe shelf, isn't it, shoe rack, or you will not put shoes on the bookshelf or above the bed, isn't it? So when once you collect the data, it's a similar thing. The data is raw in nature. You have packed everything all together, now you are unpacking it, and now you want to arrange it, you want to organize it in an orderly manner, so that next time whenever you are in need of that product, whenever you are in need of that data over here, you will just go to a particular place and just collect use those data. So this is why organization of data is very, very important. This is why organization of data is very, very important. So here the data collected from the field of investigation is raw in nature. Let's say you have collected the data regarding the respondent and his family. Let's say there are 5 members in his family, some are male, some are female, some are aged 50, some are aged 15 or 16, some are teenagers, some are senior citizens. Some are working, some are not working, some are studying, which stream they are studying. Some belongs to general caste, some belongs to scheduled caste, some belongs to scheduled tribe, some belongs to Hindu family, some belongs to Muslim family. So how will you organize it? If you keep it raw in nature, then you will not be able to use it for analysis purpose. So you have to organize the data orderly. Let's say female, how many female respondents were there, how many male respondents were there. Out of those female respondents, how many were educated till primary level, educated till secondary level. Then slowly you start arranging the data, organizing the data. And once you organize the data, then only the presentation of data in diagrammatic form or in tabular form or in textual form is possible. And once you are able to organize the data, then you can work on it mathematically, you can analyze it, you can analyze the mean, median, mode, etc. of it. Okay, now I'll move on to the definition of classification of data. Okay, why the classification of data is done. Okay, classification is the process of arranging data into sequences and groups based on some criteria or characteristics. So we will choose some characteristics, let's say gender. Okay, we'll keep male on one side, female on another side. Okay, it can be social category. Okay, like SC, ST, OBC, general. Okay, it can be on the basis of religion. Okay, it can be on the basis of income earned. So there are many ways of classifying the data. Okay, it may be on the basis of let's say state-wise data. Okay, or region-wise or district-wise. Okay, it can be based on yearly basis. Like say 2019, 2020, we can classify the data on the basis of years as well or time as well. Okay, so this is how classification of data is done. So classification means the process of arranging the raw data into sequences or groups based on certain criteria. Let's say area, gender, nationality, okay, social category, income, okay, whether belonging to BPL or APL, okay, whether having certain assets or not, whether educated or not. So this type of characteristics we will choose and we try to classify it accordingly. Okay, let's say if we are collecting data regarding the marks scored in, let's say, mathematics in your class 10th board exam. Okay, we have female students as well as male students. So very first thing which we will do is we will classify it into male and female. Then we will try to find out how many female students, girl students have scored more than 80. Okay, how many students have scored in between 61 to 80, and how many of girl students have scored in between 41 to 60. In this way we can classify the data. In the similar way we can classify the data for male as well. And under this also, if we try to further find out how various social category students have performed, then we can further categorize it, classify it on the basis of social category, that is general, OBC, SC, ST, etc. Okay, or if we want to find out the economic background of the family and their performance in mathematics in class 10 board, then we can see whether the student was belonging to BPL category or not. Okay, and if he or she is belonging to BPL category, how much marks have they scored. So in this way we can easily arrange the data in a sequential form or in certain order. Okay, and it will make easier for us, okay, to make comparison, to treat those organized data further, to calculate mean, to calculate median, to calculate standard deviation, etc. Okay, now objectives or importance of classification of data. Why do we need, okay, why do we need to classify data? Why is it important to classify data? To simplify and condense the raw data into a form suitable for statistical analysis. Let's say in CBSE exams, okay, CBSE class 10th board, okay, there are million of students who are writing this 10th board examinations. Okay, fine. Now let's say there is 10 lakh students who have written the class 10th board exam. Okay, out of this 10 lakh students, now if you start analyzing the data in such a way that you take the marks of each and every 10 lakh students and try to analyze it, it is not possible at all. So what you will do is immediately what you can do is you will categorize it into the number of students who are scoring 0 in between 0 to 20. Okay, how many students are there, how many male students are there, how many female students are there. Okay, let's say it is, let's say 5000 boys and let's say 4000 girls. Okay, now you will see that when we are putting the raw data into some sort of arrangement, immediately the data becomes very condensed, simplified. Okay, now let's say those students who are scoring in between 21 to 40, let's say male students are, let's say 2.5 lakh, okay, and female are 2 lakh. In the similar way, we can classify it into, let's say 41 to 60, and then 61 to 80, and then 81 to 90, 91 to 100. So how many students are falling under this category? Okay, we can make further classification. We can make further classification on the basis of various social category, on the basis of private and non-private schools. That is also one way of categorizing it, but it simplifies the data. Otherwise, let's say student number 1 scored 50, student number 2 scored 40. In this way, if you keep writing, then you will see more than 100 pages will be filled with marks, and you will not come up with any analysis of it at all. But as soon as we organize the data, it is very much easy for us to draw conclusion based on that. Okay, to explain similarity and dissimilarity. Now once we arrange the data on the basis of state-wise, let's say state-wise data, the effect of corona. Right now we see every day the data is published by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of India, as well as WHO, World Health Organization, also publish the data of each day, okay, based on the how many new infected, COVID infected person have arisen in various countries, okay, including India, and how many have recovered, how many have died, etc. Okay, so once we arrange it country wise, or inside the country, if we arrange it state wise, then we are it makes the comparison, we can easily see the similarity and dissimilarity of data based on the arrangement of data, okay, organization of data. Let's say if there are 5000 cases per day coming in Delhi, and if there are 5000 cases coming per day in, or around 5000 cases per day coming in, let's say Bangalore, then there you will immediately find the similarity. And if let's say there is certain state like, let's say Nagaland, where only new cases coming is 500, then you can immediately see that, okay, here only 500 cases are coming, here it is 5000 cases. So it is very alarming in Delhi, or it is very alarming in Bangalore than in Nagaland. Okay, it's like that. Now to study the relationships, now once you start organizing the data, you will see certain patterns there. Okay, you will see certain patterns. Let's say if we collected the data, raw data of the marks scored in mathematics by 11 commerce students in class 10th board. Okay, there are 40 students in our class, isn't it? Out of that, let's say 19 are girls and 20 are boys. Now we try to place the marks scored by girls student and boys student separately in the range of, let's say 0 to 20, okay, and 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80, 81 to 90, and 91 to 100. Okay, and we found out that there were no girls, okay, there were no girl falling under this category, nil. Here in case of female, there was nil case. 0 to 20 case was nil. 21 to 40 case, matlab the student who is scoring more than 20, that is 21, and scoring 40. In between this, there are, let's say 5 students. Okay, 41 to 60, there are 6 students. In this way, if we have the data in such a way, and we find out that in case of male students, that is boys, if we see that 5 students have scored in between 0 to 20, then immediately what happens here, we can established a relationship that girl students have performed better in mathematics, class 10th board mathematics this year. Okay, immediately we can draw the conclusion. Then we try to find out why the girl students have been able to score more than the boy students. Is there any relation between gender and your performance in mathematics, or is it sheerly because of the hard work put forth by the girl students? Or it may be the case that girl students are more hardworking than the boys. Okay, we try to find out various relationship based on that. Okay, to make the comparisons easy, as already discussed, based on the arranged data here also, if we see, the comparison became very easy. Okay, marks 0 to 20, there were no female student and 5 male students were scoring 0 to 20. Then immediately we can figure out that okay, male students have performed poorly than the female student. So this is how the comparisons can be made. Okay, to prepare the data for tabulation, immediately once we classify the data, we can easily make a tabular presentation of it. Like you all have gone through the frequency distribution in your class 9, 10th mathematics, isn't it? Now here if I say income is given, okay, income in thousands, and here if I write number of families, then if I see here, let's say if I see here that the families earning 0 to 10,000, okay, 10 to 20,000, 20 to 30,000. If there are, let's say, 100 families here, if there are, let's say, 150 families here, and if there are 200 families who are earning 20 to 30,000 a month, okay, then immediately what we can do here is, what we can see, what we can analyze from this is that immediately we can make a tabular presentation of this. This in itself is a tabular presentation now. Okay, you have seen a lot of tabular presentation in class 9, 10 mathematics. Not only in mathematics, you have come across it in newspaper, you have come across it in television screen, you have come across it in other subjects as well. Okay, the tabular presentation in chemistry, physics, in social science as well. Okay, so immediately once we organize the data, it is very much easier to construct a table, construct a tabular presentation out of it. Okay, so these are the objectives or the importance of classification of data. Why classification of data is very important as far as statistical analysis is concerned. Okay, now we will move on to the types of classification of data which we will be discussing in our syllabus. Okay, the first is chronological classification, second is spatial or geographical. Spatial means related to space. Okay, it means related to space. Okay, so spatial or geographical classification, qualitative classification and quantitative classification. Okay, let's see what chronological classification means. If we classify the data, okay, if the data is classified with respect to different periods of time, if we classify the data on the basis of time, that is month, year, quarters, semesters, okay, it may be bi-monthly, okay, fortnightly. So if we if we classify the data on the basis of time period, then it is known as chronological classification. I have given you an example of it. Let's say in the year 2015, the GDP growth in percentage of India, let's say, okay, of India was 7.5%. Okay, in 2016 it increased to 8%. In 2017, 7.5% again. In 2018, 7%. 2019, 6.5%. 2020, minus 2%. Suppose. Okay, it is not the exact figure. It is just an example. Okay, now here we see the GDP growth percentage is changing over the time period, that is from one year to another year. So here we have based the criteria as year to classify it. Okay, you can even compare in monthly basis as well. Okay, monthly basis as well, you can compare in terms of quarterly basis as well. Quarterly means 3 months time. Okay, you can even compare it on 6 month basis, that is semester basis. Okay, so this is how we make the classification in terms of chronology. Chronology means related to order, in order of like ordering in terms, ordering with respect to time. Okay, ordering the things with respect to time. Let's say whatever event has occurred, okay, in 2014 will be kept first. Whatever event has occurred in 2015 will be kept second. In this way, the chronology, the order will be maintained from first time period to the following time period. Okay, so we move from one year to another year, or from one month to another month, like January to February to March till December. Okay, in this way how we make the classification on the basis of time. Okay, on the basis of period of time in case of chronological classification. Okay, spatial or geographical classification, it is based on areas or regions or countries, district, okay, tehsil, countries, continents. Okay, as far as it is related to geographical location or geographical space, then the classification based on that is known as geographical classification. Sometimes we see the state-wise data. Let's say here I have given you an example of state-wise data of literacy rate. Kerala 98%, Tripura 100%, Bihar 76%, Uttar Pradesh 80%, Madhya Pradesh 78%, Tamil Nadu 86%. Here what we are doing, we are classifying the literacy rate on the basis of, we are classifying the literacy rate on the basis of the state, on the basis of area here. Okay, so whenever the data is classified on the basis of area, okay, if we are to find out the literacy rate within Madhya Pradesh, okay, then we can take the district wise data. Chhindwara, Siuni, Jabalpur, Bhopal, okay, Balaghat, etc. All the districts, 48 districts or 49 districts which we have in Madhya Pradesh, we can easily make comparison of those states, or we can easily classify the literacy rate on the basis of various districts. Okay, so I hope that you have understood the topic which we have discussed today, that is classification of data, why classification of data is important. Okay, and then we have discussed about various types of classification of data, and in types of classification of data I have discussed about two types of classification till now. We will be discussing about the other two in our next class. Okay, the first two was chronological classification, which is chronological classification is based on the basis of, or sorry, is based on the criteria of time period. And then we moved on to spatial or geographical classification, and this classification is based on geographical location or areas or regions. Okay, we see sometimes that how northeast part of India is compared with southern part of India and northern part of India. So region wise also we can make comparison. We can make comparison on the basis of district. We can make comparison on the basis of, or we can classify the data on the basis of villages, tehsils. Okay, so we, as long as it is related to places, locations, regions, okay, if the criteria is that, then it is known as geographical classification. I hope you all have understood this. Okay, hope to see you in my next class. Thank you very much.